Liquid trucking, starting a new job is weird. And I don't care if you're a truck driver, a banker, a welder, the poor soul who has to refill the roller grill hot dogs at a truck stop in western Nebraska. Walking into a new place on day one always comes with the same questions. Did I make the right call? Am I going to fit in here? How long before I stop feeling like the dumbest person in the room? For me, that last one never stops. But in tanker hauling specifically, how long before this trailer tries to throw me through the windshield like a rag doll possessed by Aquaman? Because that's the thing. The tanker world is not fake hard. Obviously, it's actually hard. It takes patience, attention to detail, and the ability to stay calm when your brain is screaming, hey, maybe reefer was actually just fine. But today, we're going to talk to two newer liquid trucking drivers about what it's really like to come into the company. Learn this side of trucking and get your feet under you in a job that demands a whole lot out of you right away. We've been having a lot of fun with these new driver experience episodes lately, and today's is no different. This is not about pretending the learning curve doesn't exist. We all know that it does. It's not about acting like every first week is smooth and polished and tied up with a nice, neat little bow. Things go wrong. Things happen. That's why we're here to talk about it. It's about what it really feels like to be new, be nervous, and to learn on the fly. And find out whether you've really got what it takes to work for Liquid Trucking OFC Schmidt Bartow. I don't say those last ones very often, but we got them in today, and we did it before the opening music played. We got two new drivers here to talk to us today, so let's get into it.
Welcome to the gold standard of podcasts for the gold standard of drivers. This is the Liquid Trucking Podcast with your host, Marcus Bridges.
What's up, everybody, and welcome into the Liquid Trucking Podcast. Thank you so much for being here today. I am your host, Marcus. Joining me, of course, is my co-host, Amanda. Good day to you out in Ohio. Have the winds finally calmed down since last week?
Sir, we had a brief break, and they came right back, and it's insane. Like, fires are starting. It is totally crazy, but we are, safe in our huddle in our home. We're okay. And somehow
Good.
we have not lost power. Like everyone around us, both of my parents who have not been married since I was 1 and live in completely different places, each called me separately to tell me they had lost power. It's been interesting. But yet neither one wanted to come over. What's up with that?
Well, hey, as long as they got a lighter and some candles, that's fine, right? A few blankets, as long as you don't have cause to be concerned, but that's wild. I mean, it's been happening all over the entire country. The eastern seaboard, of course, is getting hammered. The Midwest is in it. There was even snow in Seattle over the weekend. And let me tell you something about snow in Seattle. If you've got a Pacific Northwest route planned and I-90 is on your agenda in Seattle, Snoqualmie Pass, the day before you get to Seattle, look up the weather report, because what happens in Seattle, Amanda, is when the snow starts to fall on the freeways, and this includes I-5 headed north and south and I-90 headed east and west, they will park their goddamn car in the freeway and leave it. And I know this. I've got friends that live in Seattle currently. My sister lived in Seattle for over a decade, and she actually got into a rear-end collision because someone parked their car on the highway and she slowed down because there was a stopped car and somebody hit her from behind. I think that was my sister. I could be crossing this up with another friend, but very, very common, and I'm sure that we've got drivers listening right now that have been driving on an open freeway that has parked four-wheelers just in the lanes. They don't even pull off to the side of the road. So trip planning right now is a very important thing. I'll just say that. I'm not a driver, but my guess is with the spotty, crazy weather everywhere, Amanda, you're going to want to be looking at your map and planning your trips out really well right now while this weather works itself out.
I saw a big old train of trucks pulled up and parked in Wyoming waiting for things to kind of calm down a little bit. Like, quite the convoy there.
Absolutely.
I couldn't imagine.
And hey, you know that what they're gonna say to you in safety, what your dispatch is gonna say. If you've got doubts, just pull over until you don't anymore. Be safe out there, guys. We know it's hairy, and who knows? By the time you hear this episode, it might be spring and 70 degrees everywhere we're talking about, because we are recording this a little bit early. This episode being recorded here on March 16th. So, hopefully this is enough of a warning 2 weeks late for you guys. Sometimes it really sucks having to record like we do, especially when there's weather like this. But I feel like we would be remiss, Amanda, if we didn't at least mention it, because we know you guys are dealing with it out there.
Oh yeah, definitely crazy. Definitely never seen so many trucks getting flipped. Oh my God, just holy moly, you guys.
Yeah, it's a peek behind the curtain of what our audience deals with every single day. And that's one of the reasons we're so happy to have this podcast moving, is so that we can talk to you about these things and hopefully bring you some tips and tricks that might make your day a little bit easier. Now, today, we're not really focusing on weather, as you heard in the cold open. We got some more new hires that we want to talk to about the new driver experience with Liquid, and we're going to bring them on here in just a couple of minutes. But first, of course, we've got homework for you, as we always do. You know it's coming, so all you have to do is already be on the website, podcast.liquidtrucking.com, and you get extra credit for the day. What kind of extra credit? It's my adulation. It's long-distance love from me and Amanda to you for going to our one-stop shop that has everything podcast up there. If you want to listen to a playlist of episodes that only talks about safety, or only talks about recruiting, or only talks about just kind of funny, goofy stuff, we've got playlists up there for you. We've got every single person's name that's been in every single episode. It's all there, plus some sweet merch, a leaderboard so you guys can pit yourselves up against one another and see who's going to pull down the most miles this month. It's a really cool website, and, I want to take a moment every now and then, Amanda, just to say hats off to our guy, Tyler. He does great work. He handles all the web stuff, and he's the guy responsible for that beautiful site. All he does every now and then is come to Amanda or I and say, hey, what do you think about this? And I don't know about you, Amanda. I give him my incredibly uneducated take, which is normally, this is amazing. I don't understand how you type letters and numbers into a screen and have this happen, but it's phenomenal. So if you haven't been there yet, check out podcast.liquidtrucking.com. Amanda, Tyler doing pretty good work out there, wouldn't you say?
When I communicate with Tyler, I just say 10110011. He knows what I'm saying, okay?
Yeah, and he writes back, what did you just call me? And
Right.
so we'll go clean that one up behind the scenes. All right, it's time to bring our new drivers on here. Let's get moving. Well, Amanda, we've got a couple of drivers here coming on to talk about the new driver experience at Liquid, and we've gotten to do a couple of these episodes here recently, and I'll be honest with you, I really enjoy them for more reasons than one. One, I think it's cool to hear what it's like to join a new company, the process that you go through, all of the anxieties that you have starting out with a new company. Getting those out on the table is great, but honestly, Amanda, if I can be so self-indulgent, I feel like we make new podcast fans right away when we get our hooks into them real early in their employment with Liquid. So I can't wait for these two to join us today, because two more fans is the way I see it.
I'm being the self-indulgent one. For once, I'm not the only one, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a few.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Let's welcome him into the show. Joining us first here, a new driver with Liquid, we've got Carissa Harris on the line. Carissa, thank you so much for being here today. How you doing out there?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good.
And I understand you're cruising out in the beautiful state of Colorado right now, so we just want to come off the top and let the listeners know that if we lose Carissa later, it was the cell phone's fault and not hers, and we will get her back on the air as soon as we can. How's the weather out there in Colorado right now?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's 70. I just missed the wind. It came out on 80 coming west yesterday, and I've never seen wind like that, but no wind. There's a couple of fires out here, though.
Wow.
There was one. I was up by Fort Collins, and this morning when I got up, it was just I wasn't sure if it was fog, and then I was like, I'm pretty sure this is smoke.
Oh, jeez.
And I think there was a fire building burning over that way, and then I think there's one over in Nebraska right now, so kind of double whammy.
Yeah, I guess
But
so.
other than that, it's beautiful skies, beautiful weather.
Awesome. Colorado's a great state to drive in when you got 70 and clear. Out here in Oregon, we've got an atmospheric river, and Amanda might get blown off the face of the earth where she's at in Ohio. What did you say? How high are the winds right now?
So first they were predicting 70 mile an hour. They just upgraded us to 80 mile an hour winds. I am watching all of the very old trees around my house right now move more than probably they thought they could.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm at a break dancing competition at a senior home right now. So fingers crossed. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, the weather might prevent us from just having a good overall experience here, but there will be two of us that are still here should that happen. Should Amanda get blown away and Carissa lose service, we've got another driver joining us here today, another new Liquid driver. Her name is Delana Sukra. Delana, thank you so much for being here today. How are you doing?
I'm fine today. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm so excited to have you on. Now, where are you running around at right now?
I'm on my way to Kansas City, Missouri. I think I'm in Hope, Missouri right now.
Okay. All right. Well, look, if you lose yourself a little bit in the backcountry of Missouri, nobody's going to blame you. It all kind of looks the same out there. So we understand.
Yeah.
Well, it might just be you and me if the weather and the service takes its toll on this episode. So anybody listening, know that don't worry. We're pros. We're just going to power right through. We've got plenty of questions for both of our guests today, and I feel like we can just sort of get into it. Carissa, I'll start with you in the interest of getting this out before the service takes you away from us if it does. Talk to me a little bit about your career before you found Liquid Trucking. Have you been driving, or is this your first driving job? What did the path look like that led you here?
Well, so I live in Lincoln, and a couple years ago, I was on my way up to Kansas City to take the kids to a water park, and I kept seeing the Liquid trucks, and they were, the advertisement on the back of the trailer. You can make 100,000 your first year. I was like, oh, okay. That's something that I might want to try. And I had worked in transportation before, but did not as a driver. And so I looked into getting my CDL, and I actually started with Grand Island Express. Little plug for them for any new drivers out there. They're a really great company. They all meet out of Grand Island, a reefer. So I did that for a year, mostly straight up 80 to the Northeast.
Oh,
I would not be sad if I never saw Pennsylvania again in my life.
Amen, sister. Amen. Longest, most boring state I've ever driven in my life.
Yeah, so I got experience up there, New York, New Jersey. It was a fun experience, but some of those places I'm just like, there's a 53-foot trailer has no business up in any of these areas.
Yeah, we prefer the wide open spaces of Colorado and the Midwest, right?
Yes.
Everything in New England is so cramped and on top of each other. Like all the roads were made way back in the day before there were even cars. If you think about a lot of the roads in New England, they were built when it was horse and buggy. So I can't even imagine for the drivers trying to maneuver and get around through any of that.
And I mean, no offense to anybody that lives up there, but I'm like, people like to live up here. Like, don't tell them how we live in the Midwest, because you don't have to live like this.
Honey, yes.
Yeah. You don't actually have to stack 18 people on top of your head and live with them standing there. You can have a space and spread out. Yeah.
And it's all dirty. Like, you can see trees and, whatever this is I'm looking at in Colorado here.
Yes.
So the little bit of work in transportation and 1 year with Grand Island Express, and that was probably a really good year for you. It sounds like you learned a lot out there and really cut your teeth in some of the hardest places to drive in the country.
I feel like that's true. And then Liquid kept sending me ads on Facebook and stuff, and I'm like, oh, they need to stop playing with me because it says you have to have a year of experience. And then, and I was just getting my time in so that I could come over and apply. And, yeah, my 1 year hit and here I am.
That's awesome. I love hearing about drivers that are kind of waiting with bated breath for that experience to come through so that they can get here. Because listen, Amanda and I know it's a really good spot. The drivers are happy. They take care of you. And we'll get into more of your experience, to orientation and beyond here in just a second, Carissa. But Delana, I want to kick it over to you real quick for the same thing. How did your career look before you joined up with Liquid? Were you a driver beforehand? What was it looking like out there for you before you found us?
Yeah, I've been driving CMV vehicles for about 10 years now. I drove anything from school bus to in-dump, pneumatic, both pneumatic, tank, hopper bottom. I've done quite a bit.
Dang, so you've got experience all over the map. I mean, I don't often have drivers come on and say that they've got all that. Many times they'll come on and they'll say, they have one, like I drove reefer, but you have really, I mean, even into pneumatics, that's kind of a niche there. You've got a lot of experience under your belt over the last decade. So what was it about Liquid that kind of drew you in?
It's kind of pretty much the same thing as Carissa. I've been driving around and I see the trailers with the advertising on the back, and I was like, well, that's definitely more than what I've been getting. So let's take a chance here.
Absolutely.
I haven't done Liquid before, so this is the first hauling Liquid, so this is different. And with all the experience I've had with all the different C&Ds and trailers, I actually haven't done like a lot of over the road or anything like that. I was all basically local.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a little different too, but I'm getting the hang of everything.
Okay. All right. Well, I got to ask you because you drew attention to it. You've never hauled Liquid before. The very first time you felt that surge, what went through your head?
Oh my gosh. I thought I was about to have whiplash. Like, it was really, really tough.
Yeah, I'll probably almost feel like you got rear-ended by another truck, right? I mean, it's a big splash. Yeah. How about you, Carissa? The first time you felt that, it was probably pretty shocking as well, because stuff in your reefer doesn't surge, and if it does, you got a whole different set of problems, right?
Yep. Yeah, pretty much the same. I don't think we can cuss on here, so that, I mean, I won't tell you exactly what I thought, but
let her rip. If they want to bleep it, they'll bleep it.
No, yeah, that was just shocking. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Okay, all right. As long as we don't get gratuitous with it, they normally let us slip a couple in, and I think that this is an appropriate time because it sort of draws attention to the fact that the first time you feel like you really can't, people can tell you that you're going to feel it, and people can tell you what it feels like, but until you physically actually are sitting in that seat, it's different than anything else you've ever gone through, I assume.
Yes, for sure.
Well, let's get into a little bit of the process here. It sounds like you both you saw the trucks, those shiny liquid tanks. Look, I've seen one of those on Interstate 84 out here in Oregon, and I got to figure I probably made the driver a bit nervous because I was taking pictures, I was following him, I was trying to get up next to him and wave at him. Totally not what you should be doing as a four-wheeler. I'm not happy with myself, and I've made changes, but I understand the trucks, they draw attention. They're good-looking trucks. It's the advertisement is really well placed, and you saw the truck, you made the call, you probably talked to our guy Jake Debo. We love him to death on this podcast. Once you first stepped foot in orientation, what was that whole day like, Carissa? You're in here with no tanking experience. You walk into that giant facility for the first time, probably looking face to face with Bo and Cole, or somebody that's beneath them in the process. Walk me through what was going through your head. Were you nervous? Did it seem like a lot? How'd those first couple of days of orientation go?
Yeah, I probably had a smile on my face the whole first day. And, got all the paperwork and everything done. And then, we went out in that garage and they were talking about, you got to make sure you bleed out the air, extra pressure and all that, if they don't hurt yourself. I'm like, whoa, hold on a minute. But just a lot of information thrown at you, and then, just processing it. And some of it is like, this makes no sense to me until I actually need it, or, I'm in the moment, and then I'm like, oh, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
So, it was good. I liked our little orientation group, and our trainers were great. So
That's good. That's all good to hear. I've heard it described as can be like drinking from a fire hose a little bit on those first couple of days, but once you actually get your hands on the equipment and start learning it, it probably starts to make sense pretty quick, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Good, good. Well, hey, hats off to Bo and Cole. They do a great job and all the trainers as well. Look, there's a ton of people that we should thank on here. And, John out there, John Lohan, my guy. There's just so many of them. It takes a village to do it as well as what Liquid does. Delana, how about from your perspective? Now, you've got a ton of experience in all these different types of hauling. What was the orientation like for Liquid for you, and how was it different from some of the other companies you've worked for in the past?
Well, when I got there the first day, I thought, well, this is a really nice facility. I felt like everything was set up pretty nice and simple. Of course, there's a lot of information coming at me, so just unsold information, but once we got into the area with the tank, I was nervous, but realized that the pneumatic experience I had actually helped me with this, because a lot of the things that we do with pneumatic is similar to the liquid tank, so it wasn't as difficult. I mean, there are some situations there I get confused sometimes. Well, I got confused sometimes with the different ways that the pipes go and all that, but eventually it seems to all come together.
Good, good. Well, that's the goal, right? Nobody expects you to come in and know it all from the get-go, and even if you do have a breadth of experience like you do, there's always nuances to learn, even if it's just the way that specific company does some things. But I'm glad to hear that you got, especially, Carissa, you said you had a smile on your face the whole day. That's got to feel good. I had talked to Bo and Cole about that. Like, hey, you got a student in training that is grinning like from ear to ear all day. That's got to make your job pretty easy, right? I mean, if it was me, I'd probably be holding back tears because I was so afraid at all the stuff I didn't know. So I love to hear that. Now, I will ask you both this question. Chris, I'll go to you first. What do you think the biggest adjustment was moving over to tanking out of reefer? Was there one thing that was like, wow, I really have no idea that this was a part of tanking, and you really had to, focus up?
I think just the way the product moves, that surge, as you say, if anything moves back there when I'm hauling the meat, you probably got another problem. But yeah, just getting that, timing down to come up a little smoother at last.
Got it. Hey, it is a very, very smooth process once you learn it, but you got to learn it, right? And Delana, from your perspective, with all the experience that you have, maybe there wasn't anything that surprised you necessarily about tanking itself, but was there anything that was an adjustment in coming to work for Liquid as a company that was different from what you'd experienced in the past?
I think for me, the major thing is the over-the-road aspect of it, because everything I've done was local. I mean, I did have a time there where I worked for, I hate to say it, I don't want anybody to judge me, but I worked for Swift.
Nobody's judging. You're not the only one, I promise. And everybody has that same ambivalence that they come on and go, I don't know if I want to say this, but I'm going to. You're in good company, I promise.
Yeah. But the good thing about working there, I didn't actually, I was dedicated to Walmart. So it's not the same as, quote unquote.
Right.
But I did have a little, further drives and stuff there. And then I did regional with Billman. So I have like the road and all that, but not as far as I'm going with Liquid now. So I think that's the major change for me, the distance
Sure.
driving.
Yeah, no, it's a big one. And you know what? Let's talk about it because, Amanda, I feel like this is a really good segue. One thing that we always hear from the drivers here at Liquid is the equipment's nice. They like the
Yes.
equipment, they like the trucks, they're comfortable, they're clean. Carissa, you're out there in a Liquid truck right now. What do you think? How do you like it? Is it clean? Is it running well? Are you comfortable when you're out over the road?
Oh, I'm not exactly sure how I should answer that. Because I've been thinking of a nice way to speak to Jake about this in recruiting when he told me that it's very unlikely that I would get a Volvo because I'm actually out here in a Volvo. And I would have to say, had I known, I probably wouldn't have come over here. This, the truck had like 550,000 miles on it. It's 10 years old. It had the original seat in it. And, at week 2, I was talking to my dispatcher, Brian, and I was like, hey, Brian, like this is causing me a lot of pain and discomfort. And so we got this switched out, and it helped the situation. But, the Volvo, it's old. She wants to try to drive and kick into like hill assist mode and, do some funny stuff. And I'm like, you need to let me, I'm the driver, no, thank you. I don't need your help. And so, hopefully sooner rather than later, I can get one of those nice trucks.
Absolutely.
The lot does seem to be full of them.
I'm glad that you're standing up for yourself here and you got that seat switched out. First of all, there is one thing that I think stands to reason. My dad always told me when I was a kid, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Like he would be the guy who say, well, did you put in that job application yet? Yeah, I put it in. Well, have you called them? No, I put in the application. You need to call them. Just call them. Just be on their mind. And that's kind of, I think, the same thing. I think if you made enough noise and you became a big enough part of maybe Jake's day, you might find yourself in something other than a Volvo before too long, Carissa. So, and listen, there's a reason I ask. I know drivers have preferences, okay? We can't just paint with the broad brush here. I've talked to many Volvo drivers who will defend it until the death, and that's their hill to die on. I've talked to many Volvo drivers who would rather be in a Freightliner. So I get it, and I'm glad that you were honest with it. That's what this podcast is all about. So I will say this, good luck. Good luck in the future. I hope they get you into something that's a little bit more comfortable as time permits. Delana, how about you? What do you think about your truck?
Well, I'm in a Volvo too.
No.
I'm not really, I'm not super excited about it, but it's not too bad, I suppose. I mean, she's really small. Very bumpy ride. But, I mean, it was nice and clean and it didn't smell or anything, so I guess I'm fine with it.
What kind of creature comforts are you adding to the cab out there over the road since that's kind of a new thing for you? Was there anything that you learned maybe that first week that you got, gosh, I got to get this on the truck and I always have to have it on the truck?
Well, I definitely have a seat cushion. It's one of the silicone ones, so that has helped a lot. Like Carissa, I had to get my seat changed as well because it was not working for me at all.
Mm-hmm.
It was the original seating here, and it just kept making me bounce. Like, I'm really short, so I had to keep the seat a certain distance from the floor so I could reach the pedals. And the seat was just so old, it just kept making me bounce up and down. So it didn't look too good with the liquid in the tank, So
Right.
pushing and letting off the pedal kind of just had that liquid just going, So.
Yeah. So I was going to ask Delana, I want to know exactly how tall you are because I'm 5'3", and I want to look cool when I drive my four-wheeler, but I still have to reach the steering wheel and the pedals. I want to know how tall you are driving that Volvo.
I'm 5'1".
Oh my God, I'm taller than you. I have to meet you. It's determined. We have to meet and take photos. I love being taller than someone. That's crazy, 5'1". My gosh. So, I mean, gender aside, size alone, like you're kind of, do you feel like an odd man or woman out being so short amongst other drivers?
No, not really, because I don't know. Like, I've always I don't know. I can't even. I'm not. I used to feel like the odd man out with being short, but me coming into the CMV, driving and stuff, and doing a lot of men's work per se, in the construction and everything. That kind of took place of my height, being the only woman,
Oh yeah.
especially the woman driver. So
Now, I've got to ask if they've come up with any fun CB handles for you, because, the drivers at Liquid, they're quick with them. Mine is never shuts up, which makes sense. We're on an episode 121 right now, so right down the middle. We haven't had them create a CB handle for Amanda yet, but we will.
I can't wait.
Delana, Carissa, have you guys got CB handles yet?
I do not. Well, I don't have one with Liquid, but with the company I worked for before, there is a couple of guys that would call me a bully on the CB, but
They called you a bully?
Yeah, I was not the bully though. I was actually training someone, and the female I was training, she was like really tough on the CB, but we kind of sound similar over the CB. So they just assumed it was me because it was my truck. So
I love it.
it just stuck, they just called me the bully.
Ah, undeserved. That's no fair. Amanda's told me before that she's kind of a bully before. She said that. She said she's what do you say? You're a hard bitch, I think is what you've said before.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I don't see it at all. I'll be honest with you. It's the same thing with Delana. You've always been nice to me, but I guess maybe it's just about when you catch you.
Exactly.
Well, Carissa, we'll get you a CB handle before too long. Something will happen, or somebody will say something, and it'll turn into a nickname that stays with you for the rest of your life. It just happens, They could have gone a lot worse than never shuts up with me. Like, sometimes I sit back and think about it. There's some 4-letter words that I'm sure could have made their way into the conversation, So I'm happy. They always end up giving you a good one, but moving on down here, I want to talk to you guys kind of from your seat where you are now, after being through the whole process and actually being out on the road by yourself. What kind of advice might you give somebody considering moving into tanker hauling for the first time? Carissa, I'll start with you.
That's a good one. I would say just work on your patience, problem-solving skills, and watch your trailer.
The patience thing is such a big one, because another question I had here was, what do you think, what personality sort of fits tanking? And I guess one thing I see with all the drivers we talk to, and we get a lot of them on here, as you guys know, they're all very patient people. None of them seem hot under the collar. And this is, I'm working on episode 350 now that I've made for truck drivers. So I have talked to the hot-headed driver, but I just haven't really talked to him from Liquid. And it seems like a job that lends itself to helping you out the more you stay calm, Carissa. Would you agree?
Yeah, that and problem solving, because it's not like you got a different trailer that has to hook up differently every time, and let's see the same one, but just figuring out that puzzle every time you go to unload or load, and it really does feel good. Like, feel really accomplished and feel really good once you get everything hooked up and you hear the pump going, and we got magic going, and it's a good feeling.
That's good to hear. Well, I like that. It's good advice. Delana, over to you. What kind of advice are you giving somebody that's thinking about jumping into a tank hauling career for the first time?
I guess I would say take your time. Don't let anyone rush you, because like Carissa said, it's a lot of different, like, all these trailers are different, and they have different, connections, different ways they hook up and pump off and all that. So I would just say, definitely patience, but I would just say, like, don't get rushed, or, because the slightest mistake could be very bad. So
Yep. Yeah, 100%. And attention to detail, it kind of sounds like too is something that you're touching on there a little bit. If you speed up and you start glossing over some of the little things, it's only going to be just a matter of time before a catastrophic something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
Good stuff there. All right, Amanda, before we get into something a little bit more fun here, I want to make sure you don't have any more what I would call serious questions for our guests today, because I am going to take it a little bit off the wall, as I am wont to do.
I mean, I don't know that they're serious questions, but like I've been talking to a lot of guy drivers, and ladies, I hope you don't mind me asking you a question from like a female perspective. And it seems like we're all kind of on the same page with like I can do whatever anybody else can. So there's no question when it comes to you being able to perform your duties. My question is, every guy driver I talk to tells me showering on the road is not that big of a deal. Tell me how you each feel about that.
Carissa, go ahead. We'll start with you on that one.
Okay. Yeah, not my favorite thing to do because, I mean, the bathrooms are clean, but they're still dirty. And then, when you go in, you get to see everybody that just came out. And,
Yeah.
So
I didn't think about that.
But I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, it's better than not having a shower. So I guess that's where I'll get there.
Delana?
I would say, to me, it's not a major deal as long as I can shower in the Loves. All the Loves that I've been to have been really nice and clean looking anyway. And very big and open, so I feel like showering there is fine. But I have had to shower at Pilots before, and they're not that bad, but they're definitely not a Love.
So appropriately named, Loves gets the love for sure.
Yes.
Understood.
And I feel like the same with Carissa. Like, I'd rather have a shower than not go without one. I have to get one every day. So
Copy that. Well, I was trying to come up with a name for this part of the segment that we're going to do here, and the only thing I could come up with was Risk It or Flick It. You're going to tell me whether you would risk doing this thing or whether you would say, nope, I'm getting back in the truck, I'm getting back on the road, and I'm not going to do that thing right now. And since we're already on the subject, Carissa, I'll start with you. Not having flip-flops for the truck stop shower. Are you risking that?
Finish. Flick it.
Yep. Don't even have to finish. Delana, if you show up to the truck stop without flip-flops for the shower, risk it or flick it?
Oh, that's Flick It, definitely.
Even though you need that daily shower, you're saying absolutely not.
Absolutely not. If they don't have any I can buy in there, then we're just going to have to pass it.
Okay, all right. Scenario number 2, you are incredibly hungry and you have run out of whatever food you brought with you. You're craving like a hot dog, but the only one on the roller at Flying J has one solid wrinkle moving through it, okay? Risk it or flick it?
Flick it.
Flick it? Okay. And what's our other answer? Are you risking it?
I'm going to flick it.
You're going to flick it?
Oh,
I kind of
ladies,
figured.
I risk anything for a hot dog. We're not the same there. It's a problem for me. Seriously, bowling alley, movie theater, I don't care. If you have a hot dog, I'm eating it. Don't judge me.
That's good. Yeah, don't touch. Let's see, risk it or flick it. The only parking spot available. Now, let's go ahead and qualify here. You've got some time left on your clock. The only parking spot available is between a really loud reefer and a guy that looks like he just stepped off the pages of Alcatraz Monthly. Risk it or flick it?
Dang. I mean, I was all in next to the reefer.
Right?
I'm used to it. And I'm like, sometimes I look for him now because I'm used to the noise. I need it to sleep.
Right.
I'm just gonna lock the doors and risk it.
Okay, all right, we're gonna risk it. You know, there's some interesting individuals at truck stops. You will find them there, so can't judge every book by its cover. That's for sure. Delana, how about you? You risking that, or you flicking that one?
I think I'll risk it as well.
I like
I'll
it.
make sure my truck is double locked and doors are strapped.
Make sure that tire thumper is within reach,
No,
right?
I just learned that trick with the
yeah.
seatbelts, putting the seatbelts across the
Yes.
door handle or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
like, that is genius.
Yeah.
You know, I actually just talked to a flatbed driver the other day who he spent 25 years managing banks, and then he went over to flatbedding, and his first night out on the road, he was terrified of somebody breaking into his truck, and he had all these extra ratchet straps from his trailer, so he double ratchet strapped his doors to one another.
Yes.
So that, like, you couldn't open
Yes,
either one of them if you
exactly.
wanted to.
Yep.
So, hey, safety's important in every aspect of trucking, not just while we're on the road, right? So it's something to think about. I liked it. You guys did great that's the first time we've ever played Risk It or Flick It. It was sort of right off the top of my head, so I'm hoping that we had fun there. Learned a little bit about you guys. I see where your risk, I guess your stomach for risk really kind of lies there. We're not messing around with wrinkly hot dogs or truck stop showers, but we can live next to a reefer, especially Carissa, because she's used to it. I get that. Well, ladies, I got to thank you so much. This has been so much fun just getting to know you a little bit. I hope you've enjoyed your time here on the Liquid Trucking Podcast, and we always are going to make room for final thoughts for us here. And before I get to you two ladies for your final thoughts, I want to go to Amanda to see if she has any final thoughts for us here before we wrap things up today.
I think that I am much more alone in the hot dog universe than I ever would have believed. Honestly, that one's kind of shocking to me. But at the same time, I'm a daily shower girly. Like, I think like I bonded with our two drivers today. Like, you have your people for sure, and I think these two are going to be mine going forward. If that's okay, you guys.
Yeah. That's fine.
Well, I will tell you this. I didn't answer on the hot dog one. Because I'm torn, to be honest with you. Because if I'm hungry, all bets are off. But I got to be honest with you, if I saw the wrinkle, like if it made it jump a little bit on the roller when it rolled over the top of it, I'm flicking it at you, Amanda. I'm grabbing it off there and I'm throwing it at you. All right, Carissa, we'll go to you first for your final thoughts today. Again, thank you for the time. I do this for everybody. Since this is your first time on the show with us, I'll let you ladies know that final thoughts segment is meant for you to say anything that we left on the table. If there's any thoughts that you have about the conversation that you didn't get to share, you can share them here. You can shout out family members, friends, coworkers, anybody that might be listening to the show. The floor is genuinely yours. You can say whatever you'll leave us with. And Carissa, we'll start with you. Thanks again for the time today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. You guys were great. Delana, it was fun. I'd just like to say, yeah, Liquid's been great. I'm glad that I made this change. Everybody in the office has been easy to work with. My dispatcher's great. I do really want to shout out our guys over there in the tank wash. I've only had to go out to a tank wash 2 times out on the road, and it really made me appreciate, how good of a job that those guys do. And then our trailer and truck shops, like everybody just really does a great job, and so I really appreciate that as a driver. So yeah, this was a good time. I had a lot of fun. And yeah, that you've made it kind of easy. I might consider coming back, probably not for your April Fool's thing, but maybe another time.
Okay, perfect. Well, you'll get those text messages that I send out to the fleet, and we greatly appreciate the time. That's very well said. We never miss a chance on this podcast to shout out the guys out at the tank wash and the guys in the truck and trailer shop, because the one reality is they're so busy that they don't get to come on the show very much, if at all. So hats off to our amazing truck and trailer shop and our tank wash out there. You guys are killing it as always, and as you can hear very genuinely from Carissa there, you make a difference in every driver's day, so we greatly appreciate those guys. Well said stuff there, Carissa. Thanks again. Delana, final thoughts from you today before we let you get back to it.
Well, I had fun. I was really nervous for this podcast, but you guys made it very, very fun and simple. I'm not too much on words or anything, but I feel like so far I've had a good time being here. Everybody's been so nice. All the drivers that I've met, I don't really know everyone's names. I'm not too good on with names, but everybody has been nice and very helpful. I appreciate it because a lot of companies I got into, there's not so much helpful drivers, especially to women for some reason. But here has been good, so I'm just hoping it continues to go that way. And like Carissa said, everybody over at the tank wash and the shops and everything, there's always, every time I go in there, they're always helpful and very nice too. So I appreciate that a lot.
Awesome. Well said. Oh, of course. You guys are welcome anytime you want to come back on this show. You've got my phone number. Just get in touch. We love to welcome on drivers, and I hope that we made fans of you. I'll be honest with you, Delana. I'm nervous on here every single day with Amanda. She's got me just so shaken up over here. But you guys did great. I would not have guessed that either one of you were nervous at all. You did an awesome job, and Amanda and I just both really appreciate the time and can't wait to get you on here again, all right?
All right, sounds good.
All right, be safe out there, ladies. Take care.
Thank you.
As always, big hats off to our guests today after that awesome interview. Thank you to Carissa, and Delana for coming on. Listen, Amanda, it's never easy when you get a new job. You're nervous about it. And lo and behold, a couple of weird podcasters start calling you and saying, hey, do you want to come tell us about it? Do you want to come break down every nitty gritty? Do you want to tell us what the showers are like at the truck stop?
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I am glad that you're laughing at the kind of the wildness of it, because I want to put that out there for new drivers that are listening to this right now. It's gonna be weird when I finally call you out of the absolute blue and start talking to you about coming on the podcast. And what I think you'll hear from our interview just now with Carissa and Delana, neither one of them had what I would call any or a reticence about coming on here. They weren't necessarily outwardly nervous. But I could tell that it was a little bit weird setting it up at first. Who is this guy calling me? Why is there an Oregon number calling me all of a sudden out of nowhere, leaving me messages and sending me texts? I just want you guys to know I am like a jilted ex-girlfriend. I will keep calling. But if you don't want to do it, all you have to do is say that. Your job comes first here. And Amanda and I realize that. We respect it. We understand it. And just know that, you might get a call someday from me, and you'll recognize the voice, but it will be very confusing for at least the first 30 seconds, I promise. Amanda, you're getting into that, too, with some of the other work you're doing. The cold calling aspect of this job in particular was something I never really expected, and that's the way that a lot of new jobs are. Right? We're going to come in with an idea in our head about what this is going to be, and it's almost always a little bit different from that. Would you agree?
I would absolutely agree. I also feel like anytime I've started a new job, the last thing I want to do is be that annoying new person that's like, let's do this. And I always end up being that person. Not this time. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you did good, but I've been that person before. One of the things with a new job that is so tough for me is I have a tendency, and this is really going to surprise all of you that have listened to me for 121 episodes, but I get a little bit excited about stuff. I get a little bit wound up. I have some energy, and especially when it's something where you'll see the difference in me, Amanda, is I only have 2 gears. I'm really excited about this, and I don't give a shit. And there's no grabbing a gear in between those. I can get really excited about something, or I can decide that it's just not something I'm interested in, and I have real trouble ever developing any passion for it. So with me, I feel like every job I've ever had, my direct report, like my immediate manager, knows within the first couple of weeks whether or not I'm going to be your all-star employee. But when I walk into a new job and I'm really excited about it, because like for instance, this job, when I first got it, was so excited, like when's the next meeting, when's the next thing, when kind of, and you have that part where you're kind of torn on the inside where you go, am I being too wild and excited about this? Like, am I overdoing it right now? Are these people at this company looking at me thinking, who the hell is this monster that you just brought into the
What
staff?
did I do?
Exactly. And like, that's something that's hard to look in your mirror and fight with, right? Because it is who you are, and you don't want to go changing the person that you are to fit the job. You rather the job fit the person. But man, I don't know. I've literally had conversations with myself about that type of stuff going into new gigs. I don't know how it is for you, Amanda. I mean, you just took this job not long ago, so we can touch on that a little bit, but there's a lot of nerves and anxieties when it comes to taking a new position, not the least of which is, hey, I had a job and it was paying me money. Am I going to have a paycheck at the end of the month? Obviously, that's the one that's the easiest to check off the board, but still, everything makes you nervous when you get a new job, Amanda.
Definitely. Well, first of all, I have a new nickname for you since you have the whole I feel this way or I feel this way and there's no gear in between. I'm going to start calling you Skip Shift.
Okay, I like that.
I think
Yep.
that's good. I think that's good. But I think the hardest thing for me anytime I start working somewhere new is the people, is the meeting the new people, making the friendships or relationships or whatever it might be. This particular situation for us is weird because like we all pretty much only see the staff like what Monday afternoons. We all hop on a little Zoomy and kind of last week it was talking our nerddoms, which was fun. But I think my biggest thing anytime I start working anywhere is just meeting my coworkers and kind of seeing what that vibe is going to be like. I think especially for a woman, I have a very like strong personality. I'm very outgoing. And I think part of that is just because I was a really young mom. I'm a very young grandma. I'm only 42 and I have a grandson who's about to be 2 years old. Like I don't have a lot of, I think like the insecurities that a lot of younger people do, or even people my age might. Just because shoot, I'm like old and I've done it. You know what I mean? So
You had to grow up fast.
yeah, man. And I feel like sometimes my confidence throws people off. So that's definitely always my thing, is just kind of like making friends and, forming relationships with my new coworkers and getting them to like really just kind of like see who I am as a person instead of just going, oh, that's a lot, you know?
Yeah. Well, and being in this line of work, like I'm super happy that you picked this line of work because having that personality fits it perfectly, right? We are and I've never met Amanda in person, okay? But I can tell you what I know about her, and what she knows about me is that if you took us into a room of, let's say, people that listen to the Liquid Trucking podcast and maybe know who we are, maybe don't, sooner or later, what you're going to find is that these little groups of people that break off in this larger group is where you're going to find Amanda and I. And what a lot of people would tell you is holding court. We don't think about it that way. And I promise you that it is not a conscious thing where I walk into a group of people and sooner or later I'm dominating the conversation. I don't do it because I want to. I don't do it because I have some sort of sick thing where I have to have all the attention. I enjoy the conversation and I enjoy knowing more about the people that I'm standing there with. And when 5 or 6 or 8 people are taking part in a conversation like that, it just, the things it does to the insides, like I get all the good chemicals when that happens. You guys have no idea how awesome it was for me at the 3rd annual Liquid Trucking Employee Jamboree, because I got to do that all day and I had a microphone in my hand. I mean, you give me an ice cold beer, which you guys also did. I don't think there's anything I could ask for at that point in time. I'm happy. I am a pig in the trough at that point. And that is, I think it's weird because look, if you come on to a radio or a broadcasting gig, Amanda, everybody's going to be high-fiving when they find out that you or I is that person. But when I was selling cars, that first sales meeting where I'm joking and I'm kind of getting people talking and we're having a good time, there was a few people that liked it. The old guys, who in the F does this guy think he is? And a couple of those old guys kind of became my mentors, and they really took to me because we developed a friendship. There was one guy, I'm not kidding you, one of the longest tenured salesmen at this company that I worked for. He's been all the way up to a general manager. He's also been a prosecutor in a large district. So this guy's worked a lot of big money, big jobs, is now just doing the twilight years for like the last 5 years of his job. He's just selling cars and he's stacking money, right? He told me one day, Amanda, you need to shut up. Selling cars, that was his advice to me. You need to shut up. And I was like, hang on. That old guy over there that's been doing it for just as long as you told me that I'm going to be the best salesman in this dealership if I go just make friends. So which is it? Do you want me to shut up or do you want me to go make a friend? Because I can't make a friend and shut up. I don't have the ability to shut up and make friends. I'm not pretty enough. That's all there is to it. And I found that
bad. Come on.
I found that to be strange though, because what I took from that, and thank you, by the way, I will take that compliment, put it in my back pocket and use it later. What I found there was you just don't like my personality. You're sitting back there like one salesman is sitting back there thinking that gift of gab, if honed the correct way, will be able to sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves in 6 months. And the other guy saw it as competition, and I don't like the fact that this guy's good with people, and so I'm going to tell him that he needs to shut up. And that's another thing that you're going to deal with when you get to a new job. How are people responding to my personality? How is it? And with truck driving, it's a little bit different because you get to take that personality and haul your ass down the road with it, and it's just yours. But orientation, training, there are sometimes, obviously, the customer service aspect of what we do here at Liquid Trucking. Those are times when you're going to be dealing with other people, and it's a crapshoot. You don't always know where it's going to go. The best way to approach it is obviously with a big smile and that 100% there for you customer service attitude that I know all you Liquid drivers have. It's sort of a little bit of being a chameleon, like we talked about earlier, right? With customer service, what can you look like? How can you be? Can you fit this environment? And that's work in general. I don't know if you have any more. I've got a couple of things here that I want to throw out to you. I guess we'd call these exercises, if you will. But before we get into kind of some fun stuff here, I want to make sure I didn't leave anything on the table because I know you did some prep work, and I feel like I've been chattering a lot.
So no, it's funny because I was looking up a lot of like what are some good tips for when you start a new job, and one that just keeps coming back over and over and over again is one that I personally have used, and it seems to be the main one, which is the whole 30-day rule, right? You don't go in somewhere and start making changes. You want to wait. You want to give it 30 days. You want to get acclimated, see how things run. I made the mistake one time of reorganizing a notebook full of live commercial reads, okay? I had started at a radio station. I don't think this binder had ever had anything taken out of it, only had things added, and it's probably a 20-year-old binder. So, for example, there are live commercial reads in there for businesses that haven't been open for more than 15 years.
Wow.
So, I'm just trying to like clean house a little bit and get it organized. And the afternoon drive guy came in and he comes up to me and he's like, we've been doing it this way since long before you came here, like was so offended. And I'm like, oh, he bought the binder. He bought that binder 20 years ago. He's salty right now. But I took it so to heart because you don't know what the response is going to be from people that have worked there forever. And maybe he was mad about the binder. Maybe he was mad that some 20-something kid was coming in and getting a primetime role at a place that he's worked for a long time. I'm not going to justify his response, but what I will say was that was a great lesson learned for me, especially being a younger person, especially being in a male-dominated industry. I really took that experience to heart and applied it going forward. And I know, like I said before, like I'm strong. I'm a strong personality person. It can come off as abrasive. The last thing I want to do is make anybody feel like I'm pushing them around. At the end of the day, I'm going to get in my car and cry. Let's be for real. Like, I'm not tough. I just play a tough person on the radio. So,
Well, look, I think you're a better person than I am because I understand that the 30-day rule is probably not bad advice for 99% of people. It's probably not bad advice for 100% of people. I will say that in those experiences, and I have had a couple of them where the dinosaur in the office comes down and says, we've been doing it this way for 30 years. Well, they used to chisel their history on the side of caves, okay?
Thank you.
And then we invented a pen and paper, and then you bought a binder, turned it into an archive, and put 30 years worth of stuff in it. What we could have done on a computer that would make it much easier to. So I totally understand why somebody younger would want to come in and clean it up a little bit. And the thing is, it's all in the way that you respond to that. If you want to be a dinosaur, you can still be a dinosaur, and you can retire a dinosaur. You can also, I think about it from the Liquid driver's perspective. There's some guys that are driving for Liquid who they were grandfathered in with their CDLs. They ran paper logs for most of their time trucking. They were CB, not cell phone guys. They never had a camera in the truck anywhere for the bulk of their career. And look at what most of them will tell you now. If you go and ask them, honestly, what do you really think? They'll tell you, look, I was annoyed for a long time, but this is a better system. I'm a better driver because of it. I'm a better employee. I'm safer, all the things. And that's where I have trouble with your guy, especially the way he kind of came in. We've been doing it for
oh yeah.
Okay, Clint
But
Eastwood.
you're so right, like it's totally about how you respond. And, my response of smacking him upside the head with that binder might not have been the best, but I get the ankle monitor off in another month and, brief
There you go.
probation after that. No, I'm kidding.
And unlike getting your CDL, we can broadcast with third-degree felonies, okay? So we've never talked about Amanda's and my jackets on this show, and maybe we just won't. But that's some good one. Anything else? Any other tips that you came up with in your travels there that you wanted to bring up before we get into some of this silly stuff?
So, and this is going to sound like a weird thing, and I know I said the 30-day thing, and that's, kind of like rules and seeing how things work. The other side of it is it's so important to observe what the company culture is like. Okay. Yep. I recently parted ways with a company, and the reason was literally the culture. Sometimes a place can pay great and you might really enjoy your job. But if you would rather get a root canal than go to the Christmas party, which I did, might not be the right place for you. Right.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
Company culture is a huge one.
It's so important, and we see it on this podcast all the time. Like, one of the reasons that this podcast exists is to showcase the culture a little bit and let drivers know, and I see it, doing as many episodes as I have on this podcast. Like, we've connected drivers that were not connected at all, had never met one another, and now they're on a first name basis and they talk all the time, or they cook together, or they meet up at truck stops and shoot the BS, whatever the case may be. It's weird with culture because when you first get to whatever company you're going to, Amanda, it's kind of like you have to fill the role of observer for at least a little bit before you can really assimilate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, I think that's probably true. For other people, like I could see myself, like I kind of am jump into the deep end of the pool with the culture stuff. Like if you've got a group of guys going out to hit the driving range after work, or somebody's having a beer, I might be the first guy to just poke my head in if I like those people and say, hey, do you guys mind if I tag along? Like that doesn't bother me. Some other people will wait for months until they get the invitation to come. And that's like the push and pull with having a good culture is some people assimilate right into it. Other people, it takes a long time. And I think that's part of the dance, right? That's the new job dance that we're here talking about. And I love that you brought up culture because it's so important. It's one of those things that it probably doesn't make or break most job decisions for people, but it can make or break whether or not you stick with that job.
Oh, yeah.
And I think probably more times than not, I've been a culture sacrifice before in my professional career. It just didn't work. What happened was I was the only happy person at the company, and they just didn't like that. So
I've been there. I've been
Yeah.
there. I've
Yeah.
also been accused of being too competitive in an industry where I have a bonus based on ratings. Like, how can I be too competitive when you're paying me to be competitive? Like, come on. Come on.
That is like, we had this old bit at the old radio show called Ratings Man, where we would just send our stunt guy to a different radio station, and he would just show up as Ratings Man and just show up at the front desk on the phone and be like, I want to talk to, and he would just name the top show at the station and be like, why do you want to talk? Because I'm Ratings Man. And like, just, and that was us competing. Like, all right, we don't see you doing any of this. And obviously we're justifying our big number right now. So I have some things here for you because we're kind of running short on time here, but I want to throw them out there to you. Basically, I've got some new job behaviors here, Amanda, that are pretty common that all of us probably can resonate with. And I want to know what you think about them, whether these are normal behaviors or slightly unhinged. And consider the source for this one, okay? Because it's me. Oh, God. Rehearsing how you're going to say hello before the first time you cross the threshold of that new company. This is an anxiety thing. This is people that suffer from anxiety. I've rehearsed this conversation that we're having 8 times before I even got out of bed this morning. This is something I am guilty of, Amanda. Do you think this is unhinged or normal behavior?
I think it depends on the scenario for each individual person, right? Like, I don't think I would practice that, but I certainly practice, like, if I am calling to make an appointment for something, I sometimes will even give myself bullet points. And part of that is because when I am nervous, I have a tendency to say too much, right? So, to make sure that I'm not doing what I don't want to do, yes, I might rehearse. So I think that one could be considered normal.
Yeah, I mean, look, we want it to go right, and what's the best way to get better at something? Practice. So stand in the mirror for 45 minutes before you ever go in and just, hey, how you doing? Hey, how's it going? Hi, my name's Marcus. This one, definitely guilty of again. What you're going to find is I'm guilty of most, if not all of these. But this actually, it says checking your alarm 5 times before you go to bed. I am for a very important engagement, especially early in the morning, I will set 5 alarms. Not because I don't wake up for the first one, but because one time at the very beginning of this job, I missed a 4 a.m. flight. Because the gate agent at the Eugene airport is also the person that puts on the orange coat and walks outside and gets the plane on the tarmac. So when I showed up late, but before the flight had taken off, my app wouldn't work and I couldn't get my boarding pass, and there was no gate agent at the gate to give me a boarding pass or print one for me, so I couldn't get through security. And my whole thing is like, if I'd have gotten up 15 minutes earlier, I would have, and that was I only set 1 alarm thing, and like all of a sudden Ashley grabbed me and was like, you didn't wake up after your first alarm, and that 15 minutes I lost left me sitting in Eugene when I was supposed to be in Omaha, and that was for this job, and it has been something that's taken me 3 years to live down, just in case you were wondering.
I'll be bringing that up in the meeting later today.
How about laying out your first day clothes on the job like you're the starting quarterback?
Heck yes. Listen, okay. So first of all, let me back up to the alarm thing, because if anybody listening has ever been a race runner, okay, you got a marathon, you got a 5K, you got whatever the next morning, you do not sleep. Because you are at that starting line in your subconscious. So I can't do the multiple alarm thing. I don't sleep. I just don't. If I'm anxious about something, I will just be up. So it won't matter. Like 10 alarms, I'll be awake for all of them already. I don't. And I think it started with when I started as a runner and having those. You all night long, you would dream that you miss your alarm and you miss the race. So then you just don't sleep.
It's a Seinfeld episode about that.
Dude, I am telling you. But, and then what was the...
Laying out your clothes.
Laying out your clothes. Man, most fun ever, and this was probably the shortest I ever worked somewhere. I had two random jobs between like radio and coming to you guys. And one of them was working at that big company that has all the things that you order from your couch and it shows up at your door. Okay.
Mhm.
The other one was at an assisted living home, okay? The assisted living home, I couldn't wait to buy scrubs. Shut up. Are you kidding me? And then, like, now I'm going to pick out these cute sneakers to go with these scrubs because I know the residents are going to like it. So, totally, first day, had my outfit, like, very, 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 very thought through. The other one where I was working at the big box company, you know, mailing people their stuff, it was all about the socks because you couldn't have, like, a lot of personality in your outfit. So I'd wear, like, man, that first day, I couldn't wait. I had these Oscar the Grouch socks that I couldn't wait to bust those puppies out. The whole night before, I'm laying my clothes out and I'm singing, I love trash. Like, oh man, stop it. So no, I don't think that's weird. I think that's cool.
What you're finding is that there is nothing that you could consider unhinged when you're living in the lives of Amanda and I.
Right.
We just are these people. This one, 100% guilty of it. Googling the address of the company like 16 times just to make sure that you're going to get the correct directions and be there on time. I could have driven by the company I'm going to work for 8 times the day before, and I will still Google that address to make sure that the directions take me or tell me about any cops on the road or any wrecks or anything like that. Because, hey, first impressions are everything. Don't get the gig and show up late day one.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely a big one for me. And I same thing. Like I can drive by the location. It can be a building I've known my whole life. It doesn't matter. I'm still mapping it in the morning, and I'm still showing up at least 15 minutes early.
Yeah, and that kind of is in the last one here that I have for you is driving in 15 minutes early and sitting in the parking lot like it's a hostage negotiation. 100%. I would way rather be there 15 minutes early than 15 seconds late.
It was so funny. My last co-host I had, and now like one of my best friends forever, but we really bonded over the fact that we would pull into the parking lot of wherever we had to be at the exact same time every time. And it was because we both were always 15 minutes early.
There you go. There you go. I still have nightmares about it because we had at my old radio show, it started at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and we would always go to lunch at about like 12:30. And there was a couple of times where traffic, car trouble, whatever, would keep us from being there. And we did this strategically. We had a 4-minute Metallica Ecstasy of Gold instrumental intro that it was just a looped intro, and it would say like Donkey Show, and then it would and it would play, and we would like I could tell you at least 5 times where all 3 of us that were on that show were driving in, breaking every land speed record possible while listening and timing on our watches, like how long until it just goes silent, because there's nothing that happens after this goes. It just will go into dead air. And there a couple times we ran into that studio as the music faded out, and yeah, still have nightmares about it to this day. So
Yeah, not
being
me.
late.
I'm not irresponsible like Marcus. I have no stories like that at all.
They
No,
know who
man.
I am. They know who I am 121 episodes deep. There's no hiding it at this
Sir,
point in time.
I think I have too much fear of authority to ever even come close to being late. Although I will say for a while I did a morning show where the studio was 8 minutes from my house, and there was train tracks, and there was a time or two where that train is just finally passing, and it's hitting the top of the hour. It's going into the news. I know I've got 2 minutes of news to finish this 8-minute drive. And yeah, there were times where I'm flying and I'm taking my coat off and putting my headphones on simultaneously, for sure.
We're 2 peas in the same pod. That's all there is to it.
That's why we have to be separated, because
Exactly.
you imagine the chaos.
Yeah, a country away from one another, quite literally. All right, Liquid Trucking, that's going to wrap it up for us today. We went a little bit longer today than what we're used to, but that's okay. You guys get some bonus content. All we want you to know is that Amanda and I, we've been through the new gig thing. We understand the anxieties, the nervousness, all the stuff, and this was a great episode to hear, again, from Carissa and Delana about how things go, not only at a new job, but at Liquid Trucking in specific. And we got a lot of great stuff from them today, so hats off to them again. Thank you for coming on. Sorry that I bug you like a jilted ex-girlfriend, but that's just the way it goes when you're talking about coming on the Liquid Trucking podcast. So next week, I don't even know. I had it pulled up and now my computer's frozen. So next week we'll have a podcast episode.
That's right.
Tune in. And don't forget to check out podcast.liquidtrucking.com. That's the website. That's where you can find all of them. You don't have to download an app. You don't have to do anything. Also, you can fill us in by going to that website and emailing me, podcast@liquidtrucking.com. Talk to us about how your first experience at new jobs went. We'd love to bring it back and share some of your guys' stories the next time we have new employees on. What types of stuff were you nervous about? What types of unhinged or maybe not unhinged behavior did you participate in beforehand? Were you sitting at the Plattsmouth terminal for an hour before the job ever started? Did you lay out your PPE the night before on your bed? That's the story I really want to hear, Amanda, if I'm being honest. All right, Liquid. Thanks for being here today. Keep the shiny side up. Stay safe out there. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in and being the gold standard of drivers on the road. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and tune in next week for another episode of the Liquid Trucking Podcast.
Interested in finding out more about what it takes to bring a podcast like the Liquid Trucking Podcast to your fleet? Bulldog provides tailor-made top-to-bottom podcast production services. We'll meet your terminal staff, connect with your drivers, and bring you the content you want your drivers to hear. Type bulldog.works into your browser to connect with us and learn more about what we can do for your fleet. That's bulldog.works for podcasts, tenacious recruiting, and more.